What's going on, New York Knicks fans? We always got rumors swirling around our New York Knicks. We got Giannis rumors. Karl-Anthony Towns seems to be quote-unquote upset that his name is constantly involved in trade rumors. And I want to dive deep into the psychological look at that Mikal Bridges post-game interview that he did after the Toronto Raptors game. Mikal Bridges got really real after that game, and he spoke about his play as of late, and he spoke about how we'll just get into it. I don't want to spoil it all right in the beginning, guys. If you like this kind of stuff, share, like, subscribe. This next upcoming week with the New York Knicks, next Thursday, 7 days away, is the NBA trade deadline. This is going to be a hot and heavy week for our New York Knicks. So many rumors are going to come out, especially with Giannis. We're going to have it all covered right here on the channel, guys. Stick with me, and I'll take you through all the scenarios, and I'm going to get into those more towards the end of this video regarding the Giannis trade rumors. The first thing I want to get to is this Karl-Anthony Towns report that came out. He did an interview with Stefan Bondy, and the interview basically states, I don't want to misquote anything. Okay, perfect. Karl-Anthony Towns, the subject of persistent trade rumors ahead of the deadline next week, said he's very unconcerned with the chatter. Quote, I feel like I've been in trade rumors a lot of times for a damn near year. That don't matter to me, said Cat, who was traded from the Timberwolves to the Knicks before last season. I don't look at social media, none of that stuff. Focusing on the job at hand, which is trying to get wins every night. As long as I do that, I do my job. I go home happy, feel accomplished, not worried about what anybody got to say or what anybody has to write about that. And then Stefan Bondy says, the Knicks were not talking to other teams about trading Towns, which I think is a dead-on lie. His struggles have compelled speculation about his availability, and that will intensify as of next week. So, guys, what I wanted to get into, let me get into this Karl-Anthony Towns aspect of what I think about when it comes to the Cat stuff, right? I don't think, even what I'm thinking in reality is even if the Knicks don't acquire Giannis Antetokounmpo, I still think the Knicks are smoke screening this when it comes to not trading Karl-Anthony Towns. I truly deep down believe that they want to trade Cat. I don't think they think he's a part of this cohesion. I think that they think he's not going to gel well with the rest of this group and Mike Brown's system. 50 games into the season, if you're not gelled in and bought in yet, you're not going to get it after the All-Star break and into the postseason. The Knicks cannot risk Karl-Anthony Towns not buying into the system. They can't risk Karl-Anthony Towns moping up and down the floor every night when he doesn't get a foul call and flopping his way to the rim. Yes, does he get hacked? Of course. But does he have a very bad reputation? Again, of course he does. But a lot of stuff that's regarding Karl-Anthony Towns, I think is, again, smoke, there's fire, guys. If you injected me with some truth serum at this point, even if the Knicks don't acquire Giannis right now, I believe they're still trying to move Karl-Anthony Towns off of the New York Knicks. That's why that's why a lot of the stuff that you heard a couple of weeks ago regarding Cat being moved when there was no Giannis trade talk going on, I don't think that was a smoke show. I think the actual smoke show was them coming out and saying they're not interested in trading Towns, because I truly believe Leon Rose will try to do everything in his power to move Cat at the deadline, Giannis or not. Okay, whether that means Jaren Jackson Jr. from Memphis, whether that means going to Portland and trying to pull off some sort of deal there with Jeremy Grant and Drew Holiday possibly, whether that means other teams getting involved, trying to grab Cat. I don't know if the Orlando Magic are interested, and you could pry away guys from that team. That doesn't seem like a good fit either for Cat, but I think it's a complete smoke show, and I think the Knicks are trying to do everything possible to trade Karl-Anthony Towns with or without Giannis being involved in that deal at the deadline. That's where I think we stand with that. As you guys know, I still think we're getting Giannis, and I still think we're going to have him by February 5th. Obviously, nothing can happen over the next couple of days, but that's where I stand with Cat. I just don't think Karl-Anthony Towns right now is buying in or fitting into what Mike Brown's trying to preach. And when I show you guys later in the video, the Mikal Bridges postgame interview that he did, psychologically, you could see it in Mikal Bridges' eyes. He might have flipped a switch when it comes to believing. And he talked about being entitled. He talked about buying in. He talked about himself being uncoachable. And that type of stuff, you don't hear that kind of raw stuff from players to the public. That type of stuff typically stays in-house. And for Mikal Bridges to speak like that, you would assume that maybe he's all over social media. People talk every day. You would assume that people are telling him he's on his way to Portland to be a trailblazer. Mikal Bridges loves being a New York Knick. This is where he wanted to be when he was in Brooklyn. You could tell by the look on his face every time the Nets and the Knicks played each other, the way that these guys would interact. They're close friends, and this is the spot Bridges wants to be. But his inconsistent play over the last year, and then especially this year in 2025, he's looked good at times. He's looked lost at times. There's times you don't even know who's on the floor. And if you're trying to be a consistent championship team, you need consistency. And Mikal just has not given us that every single night, night in and night out. So let's get into the this post-game interview that Bridges did. So it's really telling, man. This is like it was an eye-opener. I watched it like 3 or 4 times because I really wanted to like feel what he was feeling in it, and he just came out raw and emotionless. So let's see what he has to say about the game after the game against the Raptors, where he dropped 30 and had the best game of the season. To about the entire. Actually, no, just listen in. I'll get to it at the end. There's only a few seconds.
15 points and you've taken over the game. What does that feel like?
This is my teammanes, man. Just feeding off the energy from everybody on the court, everybody on the bench. You know, they give me that energy, and I'm just trying to play for them.
You guys started the game. They went on a 7-0 run. You call a timeout. Third quarter, you were languishing. Where did that energy come from, man? All of a sudden, it became contagious.
Yeah, you just had to find it. You know, it was tough early. You know, I feel like we were running in mud in the beginning. But once, get them legs going and that competitive spirit come out there, you feel like they started to punk us a little bit, kind of piss us off a little bit, and then we just kept going.
Mikal Bridges, congratulations on a very impressive win.
Thank you.
So that's where I just love that stuff. I love to hear that from Bridges. I know I've been hard on Bridges. That post-game interview after the Toronto game, where Bridges had the best game of his career. The post-game interview in the Toronto game that Bridges had after having one of the best games of the season, if not the best game of the season. That is one of the most realest and rawest emotion you'll see coming out of a player to the media or to the public. And the fact that Mikal said he was entitled, the fact that Mikal said he was uncoachable, those are 2 extremely strong words to put out there to the public. That's stuff that typically stays in-house. And once you put that out there, you could kind of get a sense of what's possibly been going wrong with the New York Knicks this season, okay? Maybe not everybody has fully bought into Mike Brown's system. I still see that with Cat. But the problem with Bridges, and I know he had an outstanding game with the Blazers, and a lot of fans are coming on and they're going, see what I told you? Look, Bridges dropped it. I need Bridges to be that Bridges every single night, night in and night out. And I don't get that from Mikal Bridges. Now, I don't need him to score 30 every night. I don't need that. But there'll be games, there'll be stretches of games where Bridges doesn't pass 18 points. And I know his game's not all predicated on scoring, and he does a lot of things on the court, but he'll go multiple games in a row of just being invisible. And that's not the consistency that we need as a championship-level team. That's why his name's been so heavily involved in these rumors. That's why I think he's coming out now and saying the stuff that he's saying, because maybe he is a little bit afraid of getting dealt to Portland. Maybe he's seeing the writing on the wall. Because for a fact he wants to be here with the Knicks. You know that. And it would probably be heartbreaking for him to be traded away, especially to go to Portland. So when you look at it from that aspect, I know everybody wants to be emotionally attached to the players that you fall in love with, or the players that you think are the right ones to get you to the championship level. But what you cannot deny, and nobody could debate this, you're not getting the consistency from certain players night in and night out that you need to win a championship in this league. You're not getting it. There's only 4 to 5 players on a nightly basis in the NBA that will consistently give you what the back of their card says. Luka, Jokic, SGA, Giannis, and there's a couple of other, Anthony Edwards. There's a couple of players there's a handful of players that give you what they're supposed to give you every single night. Okay? That's the difference between Giannis and the guys that we're talking about dealing away. Every single night, Giannis Antetokounmpo will give you exactly what he is advertised to give you. 65% shooting from the field, 39.5% from 3, a career high. He's going to give you excellent defense around the rim. He's going to give you excellent perimeter defense. He can guard all 5 positions. He gives you a dynamic that the Knicks just don't have. And the biggest difference that I could just tell you guys, and I could preach this one word, is consistency. Giannis gives consistent statistics every single night. And I don't take that the wrong way of saying, oh my God, he's just putting up big stats. He gives you game-changing stats on a nightly basis. He does things in game that guys like Cat, guys like Mikal just will not give us. Consistently. Key word, continue to use that word consistency, because we're not getting that from some of these guys. And if you can't sit here and you can't argue with me about if we are able to trade away Karl-Anthony Towns, Mikal Bridges, and Deuce McBride, keep OG Anunoby, keep Josh Hart, and obviously this is a multi-team deal. If we're able to trade just those guys away and acquire Giannis, acquire a Drew Holiday, you're not convincing me we're not a better team. And we're not more equipped getting out of the Eastern Conference and competing with those teams out west. You cannot convince that, because consistency, once again, is the key to getting through the postseason, getting into the playoffs. You're not going to have games with Giannis where he does not score you the basketball. You're not going to have games where he just disappears on the court. He's all over the court. There's no way Giannis can disappear on the court, because the type of player he is, he's one of those handful of guys in the NBA that just doesn't disappear. He doesn't disappear. And you know he wants to be with the Knicks. And one thing that people are confusing as well with the Giannis situation, obviously it has to be a multi-team deal for the Knicks to acquire Giannis, okay? It has to be a multi-team deal. I'd be shocked if it's a Knicks-Bucks swap of whatever the hell that the Knicks have left for Giannis. The Portland Trailblazers own the 2026 pick for the Milwaukee Bucks. That's going to be highly coveted in getting back. The New Orleans Pelicans, who are also involved and also rumored to be involved in trade talks with the Knicks, Bucks, and Trailblazers, they own the Bucks 2027 first-round pick. And those are pick swaps, by the way. Those are swaps. So Milwaukee would love to get those picks back, trade Giannis away, tank some of the season, and get those high picks. It's exactly what Milwaukee wants to do. The Trailblazers would do everything in their power to get Drew Holiday's contract off their books. Off their books. That's why they're so that's why they're so aggressive in trying to get rid of Drew Holiday. And the Pelicans, God knows what the Pelicans want to do. Nobody knows what the Pelicans want to do. But their names, and they have a lot of assets that could be very valuable in a multi-team deal. Okay? So again, I mean, at the end of the day, guys, like the main focus here is either one of two routes. You think Mikal Bridges and Karl-Anthony Towns could be key parts into this team winning a championship. I don't see it. Okay? That does not mean you're wrong. That does not mean I'm right. But I just don't see it. I don't see both of those players giving you, especially Cat. I don't see that you getting the consistency night in and night out that you would get from Giannis. And I don't know if people are not just paying attention, or they've just not watched Giannis Antetokounmpo enough. It is a nightly show. It is a nightly routine for him to impact basketball games. He does not impact the basketball game in some way, shape, or form, whether it's a block, whether it's his defense. He's elite at both of those. He's unguardable around the rim. You cannot stop him. You can't stop him on the fast break. You cannot stop him in the paint. Okay? And you're getting that every single night. That's what I will try and preach to people about consistency. Cat could go games where he scores 6 points and is just not impactful at all. Bridges has gone games. He's gone 4, 5, 6 games in a row where you don't even know if he's playing or not. And I know everybody, you might like these guys a lot, and they might be really nice guys, but we got to put the New York Knicks ahead of who we love. Because the championship will matter a lot more than losing with the players that we like a lot. Okay? That's the bottom line with all this. I just went through it with the Met fan. I don't want to go through it with the Knicks fans. Because Knicks fans are some of the smartest basketball fans in the entire planet. I know Giannis makes us better. I know he makes us better minus Cat, minus Bridges. The key is, can Leon Rose get a deal done? And Knicks fans are going to have to accept it no matter what. And I think you guys will love the end result. And can Leon Rose get a deal done within the next 6 days? And, you know, what will be the end result with all this? Pretty much. That's kind of where we're all standing right now. So, again, guys, we're reaching that level of, we're reaching the point of no return here. If the Bucks are going to trade him, I don't think there's a way they hang on to him for the rest of the season. They're trying to deal him. They're trying to do him this favor, and I don't see how they don't trade him, and I don't see how it's not to the Knicks. Okay, I think Leon Rose finds a way to get it done. If you guys got this far, we got more Giannis stuff, more Cat, more everybody, more New York Knicks content coming out almost every single day. I'm trying to do it every single day. Sometimes life gets in the way, guys. Share, like, subscribe if you got this far. On to the next day. We're 6 days away from the trade deadline, guys. Thank you for watching.